All right. So, let's begin with the lesson. So again, today we are talking about could, would, and used to for the past. I want you to notice this part. Today we are only talking about the past because yes, we can also use would to make conditionals. We can also use would to make requests. We can use could to make requests, but that's not what we are talking about today. Today, we are just talking about how we use these to talk about the past. And the first thing I want to make sure everyone understands is that they're all about the past, but we use them for different things. We use them in different situations. They are not the same. They are all about the past, but they're not the same. So let's take a look at how we use them. First, we're going to start with could. So could is for ability. Like I can speak English, but can is for the present, now. Could is the same thing, but it's about the past. So it's basically just can, but for the past. And often, often when we talk about ability, it's going to be about skills. But as you will see from some of the examples, it's not always about skills. So, first example. When I was a teenager, I could run a 6-minute mile. That means I could run 1 mile in 6 minutes. This is just another way of saying it, a 6-minute mile. So when I was a teenager, I could run a 6-minute mile. And it's not 100% clear if I can do that now or if I can't do that now. We don't know. I didn't say. This only focuses on the past. Um, how do we know if I can do it now or I can't do it now? We would need more information. For example, when I was a teenager, I could run a 6-minute mile, but now I can't, or I can't do that anymore. Or we could say something like, I'm not in very good shape right now, but when I was a teenager, I could run a 6-minute mile. That makes it clearer that I probably can't do it now. So that's the first example. Here's another example. When I was 10, I could only speak English. English was the only language that I could speak at that time. When I was in high school, I could walk to school. And here you can see this is not about skills. You don't need to have skills to walk to school. It just means I was able to do it because my home was not far from the school. When I was in high school, I could walk to school. I have two more examples, but I am going to check the comments very quickly because I see we've got some. I see a few people have sent example sentences. Please wait one moment. I'm not checking the example sentences yet. I'm going to ask you to send me some sentences in one moment, but I want to finish with my examples first to make sure that everyone understands. Next one. We could see the ocean from the balcony. Again, not a skill, just an example of something that you were able to do. It was possible because the balcony faced the ocean. It's not something that you studied to do or practiced doing. It's just a fact. Or another example, I couldn't hear what you said. You said something and I couldn't hear it. Right now, we'd say, sorry, I can't hear you. But in the past, I couldn't hear what you said. And it might just be like 2 seconds ago in the past, even. Sorry, could you repeat that? I couldn't hear what you said. So actually, when you're talking to someone right now, we often use this because the thing that they said was in the past, even if it was just 1 second ago or 2 seconds ago. It's still in the past. Yeah, so this is how we use could. I think that from all of those examples, you all should probably understand it, but let's take a look. Let me check some of your comments. So I want you all to send me some sentences now. And I would like you to try to use this. When, subject, could, verb. So when I was in high school, I could do something. When I was younger, I could do something. When I lived in this place, I could do something. When I worked at this company, I could do something. And I'll start looking at the sentences in one moment. I'm going to give everyone time to write. And Uzga, thank you for letting me know that I pronounced your name correctly. And Lydia from Russia, thank you for reminding me that your name is Lydia because I cannot read your YouTube name. Okay, so when I was a teenager, I could sleep all day. Good, good. Um, Two small things. One is the W when should be capital or uppercase. It should be big W. When I was a teenager. And after the when I, you should have a comma. When I was a teenager, comma, I could sleep all day. But your example is good. When I was 13 years old, I could play the piano and violin, but now, sadly, I can't. Good, good. So, the same thing here. You need an uppercase W on when, and after the when part, you need a comma. So, when I was 13 years old, comma, I could play the piano. But yeah, you're using could correctly. When I was young, I could do many things. No to, no to. So it's always could, verb, no to. Could do, could go, could eat, could watch, could, verb, no to. When I was a child, I could go to school by feet. So we don't say by feet. First thing, um, good job with capital W, big W, good. When I was a child, comma, good. My only correction is that we don't say by feet. We say on foot, on foot. But usually we just say walk. When I was a child, I could walk to school. But if you want to, you could say on foot. When I was 6 years old, I could count to 100. Good. You just need the comma. When I was 6 years old, comma, I could count to 100. Good. So right now we are focusing on using could. So when I was a child, I could, but learn English does not work here right now. Thank you for participating, but we need to use could right now. For example, when I was young, I could dance. Good. When I was a child, comma, I could swim very fast. Good. When I was 10 years old, I could speak only Kurdish. You don't need to say Kurdish language, just Kurdish. When I was 10 years old, I could speak only Kurdish. Good. When I was 4, I could read and write. Uppercase W, comma, very good, very good. When I was younger, I could learn things by heart easily. Good. Guillermo, one thing, and I'm mentioning this now because I'm also seeing other people having difficulty with this. The comma comes right after the word, and then there's a space before the next word. So, when I was a kid, comma, space. When I was 4, comma, space. When I was young, comma, space. I see lots of good examples. I think everyone's got it. I'm not going to click on every one because I don't want to spend a long time on this because I want to go to the next one, but I'll check maybe 2 more. Um, when I was young, I could hear good, but now okay, so very close, very close. This is better than your last one. Good. So when I was young, I could hear well. Well. So we need the adverb here. Well, something is good, but you do something well. So when I was young, comma, I could hear well, comma, but now I can't. Because now is now, the second part needs can't. I could in the past, but now I can't. So when I was young, I could hear well, but now I can't. When I was young, I could run very fast and very often. Uppercase W, comma, perfect. Yeah, very good, Irina. Good. Good. Okay, good, good, good. Now let's go to the next one. It looks like everyone understands could. Good job, good job. Let's go to the next part. Okay, so the next one is would. Oh, give me one moment. Let me move this. Okay, okay, good, good, good. So would is for repeated actions. So a repeated action is something that you did again and again and again and again and again. It's not something that you did one time or two times or three times. It's something that you did again and again and again and again, many times, which is why it includes habits and routines, because these are things that you do all the time, maybe every day, twice a day, every week, something that you did a lot in the past, not just one time. This is when we use would. And let me give you some examples. And don't send me your examples yet. Please wait one moment. Let's look at mine first. My friend's mom would make pancakes every Sunday. And one thing I want you to know about would, because we're going to compare would and used to. We haven't talked about used to yet. That's the one that we're going to talk about next. But would and used to are very similar. But one important difference is that when we use would, we usually need more information. For example, if I say my friend's mom would make pancakes every Sunday, it sounds like we're talking about a specific time in the past. But this sentence doesn't give a specific time. So if someone said this to me, I would think, huh? When? I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? When in the past was this? So usually you would put that information in the sentence. For example, when I was 7, my friend's mom would make pancakes every Sunday. Or we don't have it in the sentence, but we already understand when we are talking about because we are in the middle of a conversation, and this conversation that already started was about a specific time in the past. So if we're already talking about something 5 years ago, and then you say, my friend's mom would make pancakes every Sunday, we understand that that was that time 5 years ago. So one thing I want you to understand is that we use this to talk about a specific time. The other person needs to understand when you are talking about. Or, so here I did include when I was little, my dad would take us camping. So would, again, this means again and again. So it sounds like maybe once a year, twice a year, every summer, every fall. It's not clear exactly how often, but it's clear that it happened regularly, again and again and again. Maybe every month, maybe every year, maybe every 2 years, but it was regular again and again. That is why we use would. Or when I lived in Bangkok, I would eat papaya salad almost every other day. So every other day means this day, not this day. This day, not this day. So yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So every other day really means 3 or 4 days per week. And I'm almost every other day. So this just means a lot. About 50% of the time, I would eat papaya salad. In college, I would often stay up until 2 or 3 a.m. And stay up means to stay awake, and then you go to sleep around that time. So this means I went to sleep around 2 or 3 a.m., but it's not focusing on going to sleep, it's focusing on being awake. So in college, I would often stay up until 2 or 3 a.m. One thing you can see is that we often include the word often or always because we're talking about something that happened again and again and again. Or we wouldn't go there very often. You can also use it to make a negative sentence. We wouldn't go there very often. But it is more common in positive sentences. You can make negative sentences with it, but it's less common. We usually make positive sentences. Give me one moment to check the comments, make sure there aren't any questions about this. Okay, no specific questions, so I'm going to continue, and then in a moment, I will check your examples. Please hold on one moment. So again, we can use it in negative sentences, but we need to be careful because we can also use it in negative sentences to talk about refusal. Refusal is when you tell someone to do something and they don't do it. You ask someone to do something and they don't do it. And this is not about a repeated action. This is not about a routine. This is something very different. And that's why you need to be careful because there are two different ways that we use it in the negative. Wouldn't. Um, for example, my dog wouldn't come inside. That probably is not about a repeated action. What it probably means is I asked my dog to come inside. I said, Jasmine, come inside. Come, come. And Jasmine looks at me and says, Nope, nope, I'm not coming inside. I want to stay outside and smell the flowers and dig in the garden. Not coming inside right now. Not going to listen to you. And I say, No, come on, come inside now. You need to come inside. And she says, No, no, I don't want to come inside. That is refusal. So we also use wouldn't in this situation. Here's another example. She wouldn't answer any questions. Maybe the police think that she did something, so they take her to the police station to question her. And when they ask her the questions, she says, I'm not talking. That is refusal. So we also use wouldn't in these situations. You only need to worry about this in the negative, wouldn't. You don't need to worry about this when using would. So you actually don't need to worry about this today. I just wanted to show this to you so that you know this. But now I would like you all to send me some sentences with when. And remember, after the when part, give me a comma and then a space. When I was, comma, I would, what would you do? So what is something that you did again and again and again and again at a period of time in the past? I will give you about 60 seconds because I know some of you have already written your sentences, but we also need to wait for the other people as well. Ava, I see that you are listening, but you are driving. Yes, please, please do not write sentences while you are driving. Please just relax and listen. And can you leave a comment and let me know what I should call you? What is your first name? Especially because I see that you are a YouTube member and I appreciate you helping to support this channel. I want to know what your name is so that I can call you the correct name. Thank you for being a member. Okay, so now I'm going to check some sentences. Give me one moment. I have to go back up to the top of the comments. Could. Okay, the first one I see is from Uzge. I would go to work by bus last year, but now I have a car to go to work by my car every day. So the first part works. Good. Would, because it's a routine, a repeated action. Good. But now I have a car to go to work by. I'd just say, but now I have a car. So I drive to work every day. But now I have a car, so I drive to work every day. Oh, one thing. I see this comment. Good afternoon. I didn't know about this live. So I have a Facebook Messenger channel. So if you have Facebook Messenger, you can join my Messenger channel and I will send you updates. Usually it's like 1 or 2 or 3 a day. I don't send 4 or 5 a day, usually just 1, 2, or 3. And for example, last night I sent a message that said, don't forget, the next live lesson is in 12 hours. 10 minutes before this lesson, I sent another message that said, reminder, this lesson is in 10 minutes. So if you want to receive updates, please make sure to join my Facebook Messenger channel. The link is in the description beneath this video down here. You don't need to do it right now, but you can do it after this lesson is finished. Go to the description, find the link, join it. It's very easy. Another thing to remember is that these lessons are always at the same time. So my live YouTube lessons are always this time on Monday, always at the same time. When my son was 5 years old, he would often read stories to his sister. Perfect. Very good. Very good. When I was young, so when I was young, comma after young. So when I was young, comma, my father would take me to the park. So you just need to move the comma and add the park. But you've got it. Very good. Very good. My brother would read books every day in the afternoon when he was 15. Perfect. Very good. When I was a little child, my daddy would sing the beautiful songs to me. Good. Yeah, good. There's not anything wrong here, but there is one thing that doesn't seem right. And that is the word the. When you say the beautiful songs, that sounds like there are maybe 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 specific songs that you and I know are the beautiful songs. We know which songs they are because you said the, but I don't know which songs you are talking about. And I think that you are not talking about this song, this song, this song. I think you just mean that your father would sing songs to you and all of them were beautiful. So just take out the. When I was a little child, my daddy would sing beautiful songs to me. No the. But overall, very good. Very good, Irina. Evelyn, thank you for joining. Question. I think this was Lydia. Wouldn't is the same as didn't. Yes, in many cases, you can use wouldn't or you can use didn't. Didn't just focuses more on fact. Would and wouldn't sounds more like you're telling a story and you're thinking about the past. Oh, yeah, I remember that. When I was little, we would always. So, yes, in many cases, you can just use regular past simple. My dad took me camping. My dad would take me camping. Those mean the same thing. Adding would just makes it feel more like a story, like you're thinking about the past, and it makes it more clearer that it happened again and again and again. But yes, in many cases, you can just use regular past simple. You don't need to use would or wouldn't. When I was young, my grandmother would tell me stories at night. Good. Perfect. Good, good, good. So yeah, again, you could just say, when I was young, my grandmother told me stories at night. That works too. But this sounds more like you're thinking about the past, thinking about your grandmother, thinking about these experiences. Good. When I was a little girl, my mom would read me fairy tales while I had been falling to sleep. So, when I was a little girl, my mom would read me fairy tales while I was falling asleep. Um, falling to sleep. Yeah, I don't think we ever say falling to sleep. It's always falling asleep. One word, ASLEEP, while I was falling asleep. Some years ago, when I was younger, I would do gardening at the weekends. Good. So in the UK, they use at for weekends. In the US, we use on. But yeah, both are correct. Very good. When I was in the village, I would help my grandparents. Yeah, good. Um, it would be a little bit clearer if you said when I lived in the village, because when you say when I was in the village, that sounds like maybe you mean I was in the village yesterday for 1 hour. I was in the village 2 weeks ago for just 1 day. If you want to make it clearer, a little bit more natural, I'd probably say when I lived in the village. But it's not wrong like this. When I was little, I wouldn't go outside alone. Very good. When I was a student of English, I would write English sentences quickly. Good. When I was a student, I would spend hours in the library reading books. Good. All right, we've got a lot. These are all good. I think everyone gets it. I think everyone understands it. So I'm not going to read all of them. I see one more from Evelyn. When I was at school, I would walk every day. Good, 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 Evelyn. Um, when my son okay, so when my son was 7 years old, he would study English every day. So when my son was 7 years old. When we say 7 years, 5 years, 10 years, you always need the word old after it. My dad would buy lollipops for me at the park when I was a kid. Here, you don't need the comma. If you switch it, if you have when I in the beginning, then you do need a comma, but you don't need a comma when you do it this way. All right, give me one moment and then we will continue to the next part, which is about used to. Just one moment. Okay. So now we are talking about used to. Used to is used for repeated actions, just like would. So sometimes you can use would or you can use used to. They mean basically the same thing. But like I said earlier, when we use would, we need to know when. What time period are we talking about? But when we use used to, we don't always know about the time period. You can use used to without saying when it happened. But if you want to, you can say when it happened too. Either one is fine. Another difference is that used to can be used for repeated actions, but it can also be used for long actions. And I'll show you that in a moment. And it can also be used for states. For example, happy. Happy is a state, it's a feeling. It's not an action. It's not something that you do. So, used to, we can use for repeated actions, long actions, and states. But would, we can only use with repeated actions. We don't use would with long actions or states. So I used to play soccer. Repeated action. Yep. We can use used to or we can use would. But I used to live in Thailand. Living in Thailand is something that I did one time. It's not a repeated action. It's something I did once, but it happened for a very long time, 10 years. So we can say, I used to live in Thailand, but we can't say I would live in Thailand because would is only for repeated actions. Or he used to be afraid of spiders. Be afraid. That's a state. It's not an action. It's not something that happened again and again and again. It's just something that was always true for a period of time. Another example, similar. She used to have long hair. That's not an action and it's not repeated. It's just something that was true for a long time. Or this building used to be a school. In the past, it was a school. So another way to think about this is that used to you can use for anything, anything that was true in the past for a period of time, you can use used to. You can use it with a repeated action, a verb. You can use it with a verb that's not an action. For example, have, think, know, want, but you can't use, you don't usually use would with those. Um, Again, you can also use used to with nouns. Be a school. You can use it with adjectives. Be happy, be shy, be taller, be shorter. So yeah, that is used to. And I would like you all to now send me some sentences with used to. And look carefully here because I already see some mistakes. Subject. So I used to. I used to. He used to. They used to. I'm not sure if on your screen this is over here or over here. For me, the words are here. But subject used to verb. No was, no be. Um, Subject used to verb. And actually, again, you can use used to be, but wait a moment for those ones. Right now, I just want to use the verb first. We will use adjectives and nouns after this. Right now, I just want to do used to verb. I used to play volleyball as a spiker when I was in high school. So I used to play volleyball is correct. However, as a spiker, I would probably say I used to be a spiker on the volleyball team when I was in high school. Or I used to play volleyball when I was in high school. I was a spiker. But as a spiker doesn't seem correct to me. Oh, that's would. Right now we are on used to. So I used to live in the USA. I used to live. And again, I used to wear glasses 7 years ago. You don't need was. They used to help me. Good. But you need a period at the end of the sentence. My sister used to live in New York. Very good. Very good. So you need a verb. You need something that you did right here. You didn't do anything. So you could say, I used to take English classes when I was in the USA. I used to attend English classes when I was in the USA. I used to go to English classes when I was in the USA. I used to drink water can. Maybe I used to drink water from a can. I used to drink water from a can. Or I used to drink canned, N-N-E-D. I used to drink canned water. When I was a kid, I used to go to the movies with my parents. Good job, Evelyn. Perfect. Perfect. I used to eat breakfast at home before heading to school. Good. Very good. Very good. Perfect. I used to talk a lot when I was a kid, but now I don't. Good. Good. You just need a comma. I used to talk a lot when I was a kid, comma, but now I don't. Usually we have a comma before but. But yeah, good. Years ago, it used to rain heavily in this area. Good, but Guillermo, one more time. You need a space after the comma. Years ago, comma, space. It used to rain heavily in this area. Um, I didn't use to make up. So makeup is usually a noun. So I didn't used to wear makeup. I didn't used to use makeup. You need a verb there. Um, I used to watch your videos. Um, yes, but one thing I want to mention is that we often use used to when we don't do it anymore. So if you said this to me, I would probably think that now you don't watch my videos anymore. Is this true 100% of the time? No, it's not. There are some situations where we use would and we use used to and we use could to talk about the past, and that thing is still true now. But often it sounds like it's not true anymore. So just notice that often it sounds like this sounds like it's saying, I watched them in the past, but I don't watch them anymore now. When I was younger, I used to ride a motorbike. Good. Very good, Renata. I used, so be careful because when we say I used to, used has a D on the end. U-S-E-D. I used to. We don't always hear the D a lot because there's a T after it, and it's annoying to say I used to. So we don't do that. We connect them. Used to, used to. So you don't really hear the T, but you do need to write the T. I used to dance much when I was younger. Good, but we do not usually use much in positive sentences. In positive sentences, we usually use a lot. So I used to dance a lot when I was younger. We usually use much in negative sentences. I didn't dance. That's difficult for me to say. I didn't dance much when I was younger, but now I dance all the time. He used to smoke, but he quit. Good. And good comma. Good. I used to listen to podcasts every day. Good, but remember that when we use used to, there's no ing. So it's not used to listening, it's just used to listen, used to go, used to have, used to like, used to eat, used to listen, no ing. Okay, good. We've got lots of sentences. I'm not going to check all of them. Let's go to the next part. So the next part is subject used to be. This is where you can use adjective or noun. For example, she used to be a teacher. That sounds like in the past she was a teacher, but now she does something different. Or I used to be shy. I used to be skinny. I used to be fat. I used to be happier. So let's try making some sentences now with adjectives or nouns. Again, another example. He used to be afraid of spiders. This building used to be a school. Subject used to be adjective noun. Um, Also, just a reminder that when we have lots of people in these lessons, I can't check every sentence. We don't have time to do that. But if I see that you are a YouTube member and you have the member thing next to your name, I can see that in the chat. So here, I can see that he is a member because he has that circle next to his name. And if I see that a member has commented, I will almost always reply or answer if they are participating in the lesson. If it's a question that's not related to the lesson, I might not answer it. But if I see that a member has sent a sentence and they want me to check it, I will I will choose that one before I choose one from someone who is not a member because they are paying every month to help support my channel. So if you'd like to make sure that I always select your sentences, I recommend becoming a member. All right, I'll check the sentences in one moment. So I used to be a SM. So it's correct, but I don't know what an SM is. I used to be very shy when I was a teenager. Period. Evelyn, very good. This park used to be beautiful, comma, but now it looks terrible. Very good. Very good. I used to be happy when my father was alive. Good. Good. I used to be lazy. Good. Good. Um, Both of you need period at the end of your sentence. I used to be happy when my father was alive. Period. I used to be lazy. Period. My boyfriend used to be a teacher, comma, but now he is a mechanic. Period. Perfect. Very good. Very good. I used to be officer. Almost. Almost. So an officer. I used to be an officer. As a child, I used to be happy. I used to be a spiker. So spiker is a countable noun, so you need a. I used to be a spiker when I was on so you have in and on, but you need to switch them. On the volleyball team in high school. I used to be a spiker when I was on the volleyball team in high school. When the guests were coming, I used to watch them. Um, this works if you are talking about guests coming like every day, every week, again and again and again and again. But if you are talking about just one time, this doesn't really work. So if you are the doorman at a hotel, then yes, this works. This city used to be beautiful and peaceful. Yes, you are a member. You are a member. I'm telling the other people that if they want to make sure that I see their comments and reply to their comments, I recommend becoming a member. But yes, you are a member. I know that. I used to be happy when teachers notice my comments. Yes, but that again, it sounds like now when they notice your comments, you are not really happy. But when they noticed them in the past, it made you happy, but now it doesn't make you happy. Okay, so this person is asking, what does period mean? A period is the little dot at the end of a sentence. I'll show you. This is a period. You need to have this at the end of every sentence in English. You need a period, an exclamation mark, or a question mark. This is a period. Okay, and I also have two videos that go into more detail about used to. So I'm going to send you the link to those videos in the comments so that when we are finished with this one in a moment or two, you can watch those to make sure that you understand everything well. Those videos are much shorter. I think they're about 5 minutes long. So if you want to review, and there's also more details that I didn't talk about in this lesson. I tried to keep it simple today because it's a live lesson. We can't talk about too many things in 1 hour. Um, give me one moment while I find the links for you. So right now, I'm sending you a link about the same topic: used to, could, and would. That's what this video is in the comments right now. Um, I'm not sure if that worked. Let me check. Okay, that did work. Good, good, good. So that's one about used to, could, and would. I'm also going to send you one that has more details about used to. So used to be used to, and get used to. But I have to find it. Give me 1 second. Okay, so now I'm sending you a link to a video about be used to and get used to. So now you should see 2 videos in the comments when we finish this video here today. To make sure that you really understand everything really well, I recommend watching those 2 videos. Again, they're only about 5 minutes long, so it won't take a long time to watch them. Actually, one of them is 4 minutes long, the other one is 9 minutes long. Um, I'm not a member on your YouTube page. Is that a problem? No, that is not a problem. That is not a problem. Everyone can join these lessons. These lessons are free. However, if someone is a member and we have very little time and I can't check every person's sentence, I will focus more on the sentences from members because they are paying and helping to support these lessons. But yes, everyone is welcome to be here. Everyone is welcome to comment. Everyone is welcome to learn. I will try to read sentences from everyone, but when there is little time, I will focus more on the members. Yes, correct, correct. I mentioned this in the beginning. There are different ways that you can use could. There are also different ways that you can use would. But today, in this lesson, we are talking about different ways for talking about the past, is what we are talking about today. Final thing, I am going to send you one more link. Um, Again, these lessons are completely free for all of you to watch. I am checking your sentences for free. If you would like to help support my work, one thing that you can do is you can use this link that I just sent right now. This is a website called Buy Me a Coffee. Buy Me a Coffee is a website that creators use so that the people who follow them can help to support their work. So if you go to Buy Me a Coffee and you buy me a coffee, which costs $5, that money for the coffee goes directly to me and helps to support my work, helps to support this channel. Um, no one needs to do this. This is just if you want to do it and if it is convenient for you. But if $5 is a lot of money for you, please don't do it. These lessons are free. I want everyone to join them for free. This is just an option for people who are able to help support my work. Um, but yeah, that is all for this lesson. Um, Please don't forget, if you go to the description under the video, you can find the links to join my Facebook Messenger channel. The Facebook Messenger channel, you get updates when I have new videos, when I have new posts on Facebook. You get reminders. Hey, the next live lesson is in 12 hours. Hey, the live lesson is beginning in 10 minutes. Um, Again, I'll usually send 1, 2, or 3 messages per day. I don't usually send more than 3. Sometimes I send 4, but I never send 5, 6, 7. That's too much. I don't want to bother you. But if you want updates from me, the link to join the Messenger channel is in the description beneath this video. And if you want some updates, but you don't want updates every day, another thing you can do is join my email. You can join my email newsletter. I usually send 1 email per month, sometimes 2, sometimes 0, but I don't send you emails every week. Again, I don't want to bother you. It's not a huge marketing thing. I just want to give you some important updates. So if you'd like that, the link to join my email is also in the description beneath this video. But yeah, that is all for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them. I'm not going to answer more questions right now, but if I see comments from you, I will type some answers over the next 12 hours. Yeah, thank you all very much for joining today, and I will see you at this time next week. Oh, wait, hold on. There's 1 week that I'm not going to be here. I need to check. Um, okay, next week I will be here. I will be here next week. Next week is Monday the 3rd. I will be here. However, Monday the 10th, I will not be here. Monday the 10th, I'm not actually going to be in Maryland. I'm going to Michigan for my cousin's wedding. So next week, we will be here at the same time. But the week after that, August 10th, we will not have a lesson. Um, and I see someone asking about Saturdays. Saturdays are not the normal lessons. Saturdays are just question and answer. So on Saturday, you ask a question, I answer the question, but there's no topic, there's no focus. It's just lots of questions. And Ava, thank you again. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for being a member as well. And Renata, thank you for being a member. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining and participating. And I will see you all next week.